All right, and good morning, everybody. This is Mr. Muniz in my 5th grade class. Today is Wednesday, March 20th, and I will be conducting a lesson called Cause and Effect Reading Comprehension on Quest for the Tree Kangaroo. And this is my class. So say hi to the camera, everybody.
Hey, guys.
All right. So you might be wondering, what is this that you see up here, right? What is that? Well, you have a paper in front of you called Words to Know, and there's a bunch of words that are and can be difficult to really understand. We have cause and effect. Although we're doing a cause and effect lesson and we're learning about cause and effect with our story, The Quest for the Tree Kangaroo, do we really know what cause means? Do we truly know? Raise your hands if you do know what cause means. So only a few of us, and that's okay. That's all right. What about effect? Raise your hands if you don't know what effect is. And honestly, raise your hands up high. That's okay. All right? And that's what we're going to learn today. Anesthesia. Have we heard that in our story yet? Yeah. Raise your hands if you truly know what that means. Some of you. That's okay. Respiration. Have we heard about that in our story? Raise your hands if you know what that means. Only a few of us. That's okay. And you may not truly know what that means, but we're going to get a little bit of a taste of what it actually means by the pictures you see. Relationship. Raise your hands if you know what a relationship is. All right, we've heard that a little more often, right? And some of you are smiling like that is a relationship between boy and girl, and I hope you don't get into a relationship too soon. All right? But what about a relationship with parents? Can that be true? What about a relationship with your pets at home? Yes, okay, so that connects together, okay? Immediately. Some of you, all right, immediately. What about struggling? I struggle. I struggle with a lot of things, okay? And I know we all do. What about a circumference of something? Have we ever heard of that word? Circumference. Okay. You have an idea, and that's great. Stethoscope. Stethoscope. Some of us have heard it before. Do we know what that is?
Yes.
Okay. And we'll talk about these. And scientist. We've heard about scientists, right? We actually were scientists yesterday with our owl palettes. Okay? So, cause is to make something happen. So, cause is to make something happen. So, make sure you get your pencils out. And we want to write this in our definition, okay? So, the cause is to make something happen. To make something happen. Okay? So Mr. Muniz was walking by and I bumped my foot on that bookcase, and then I fell and I hurt my knee. What caused me to fall and hurt my knee? Thank you for raising your hands too, please. Thank you, guys. Julian Fernandez, what caused Mr. Muniz in that small story that I just mentioned to fall over and hurt my knee? Yeah, I tripped on the library case. That was the cause. Okay? But what was the effect of me tripping on this case? What was the effect of that? Alexis. I tripped and fell. That was the effect of it. So this bookcase caused me to trip and fall, and the effect of that is I hurt my knee, right? Okay, so the effect is a consequence of action or cause. Consequence, right? There are consequences to things, right? We've heard about that, right? A consequence of an action or cause, and that ties in together. Something made me fall over and hurt my knee in the story that I just mentioned. Okay, something caused me to fall over and hurt my knee. That was a bookcase, and what happened? What was the effect? I hurt my knee. Okay? Now, if you notice the picture, these go together, right? A cause and effect goes together. Okay? The football team did really, really well during the season, and they won the championship. Okay? or I should say the football team worked really, really hard, practiced every single day in the hot weather, and then won the championship. What was the cause of that? Vincent?
The cause was them practicing so hard, right?
Practicing really hard. So what was the effect of practicing really hard? Shane?
The effect was that they won the championship.
Absolutely. So do you see how that all ties in together? Okay? That's what that picture is representing. That everything works together. In cause and effect, it works together. And it keeps going around and around. The third one, anesthesia. Anesthesia. Okay? Take a look at this. Here is a picture representation of anesthesia. Okay? What is going on there? Julian Fernandez, you can go ahead and participate again. Julian, what is going on there?
So a doctor is putting like this mask on the nose or the lady nose, so that way that the anesthesia like will work to make her sleep.
That is a great answer. So a doctor is placing a mask over the patient's nose that will help and put them in anesthesia, right? So anesthesia is to give a medication or medicine to allow a procedure. So there might be a procedure going on, like a surgery. A surgery is like another word for procedure. That was one of our vocabulary words, right? A while ago. And this is done so that the patient doesn't have any pain. So let me write this down for you, and I'm going to shorten that a bit. Okay? Anesthesia. Anesthesia. To give medication, which is medicine, to allow a procedure. And remember, a procedure is like a surgery. Okay? To be done without pain. Okay? So if a doctor gives anesthesia to a patient, like that picture right there, it is done so that that patient won't feel any pain. So for example, let's say the patient needed some work done on his or her knee because like this, what I mentioned, falling over and hurting a knee. If a doctor didn't give any anesthesia and started cutting into that knee to perform a surgery to make that patient better, will it hurt without anesthesia?
Yes.
Yeah, we all feel pain. That would hurt. But with anesthesia, they give that to patients so that you don't feel any pain. Okay? The patient may be put to sleep. So they are asleep while it's going on and they don't feel it, and then they wake up, the procedure's done. Or there are some times that you can give this anesthesia in a certain location where you're still awake, but you won't feel it, like being numb, okay, like the dentist. You're awake when they're working on your teeth, but then you feel really numb, you can't feel it, okay? You may feel pressure, but you can't necessarily feel any cutting, drilling, which is a good thing, right?
Yes.
Yes, I don't like pain at all. So anesthesia, that picture is a representation of anesthesia. That's a gas mask, okay? There's probably gases going in. They're breathing it in, which allows them to go to sleep while that procedure is being done. Okay? Cool? Are we so far so good?
Yep.
The next one, respiration. That's the action of breathing. Now this picture right here, guys, is showing a representation of a man with his organs inside, and there's respiration going through his nose, his nostril, nasal area, down into his lungs. So it's representing respiration, breathing in through your nose, and it goes into your lungs expand, and then your air comes out. To take a breath, you're respirating. Respiration, okay? Do we kind of understand like the meaning behind that? In through our nose, out through our mouth, respirating. So respiration is actually the action of breathing. Respiration. Respiration. The action of breathing. Okay? Respiration is the action of breathing. Respiration is the action of breathing. So we've done cause, we've done effect, anesthesia, respiration. The next one is, please get out your books immediately. That word immediately. What does that sound like? What is the word? What am I trying to tell you? I need you to do this immediately. Dorian is absent. Come on. Immediate. I need you to answer me now. Immediately. To do it quickly? Absolutely. Is there another one? You're absolutely right. Immediately is quickly. Shane?
You want to do it now?
Now, right? Quickly or right now. So immediately is right now. Quickly. Okay, immediately. Right now. Right now. Now, do we remember this in our story where one of the scientists was mentioning, get me the respirator immediately. Get me the anesthesia immediately. That means right now. We need it now. Yes, Grace.
I was just going to say that after respiration is relationship.
Oh, I apologize for that. Okay. So at least we got done with immediately. Thank you, Grace. I appreciate that. Now, relationship. Relationship. There's a representation of relationship up here. Okay? From one person plus another person plus another person. Raise your hands if you have a relationship with your parents at home. Raise your, or keep your hands raised if you've ever had a relationship with a pet. A dog, a cat, a dog, a fish, a turtle, right? Even a bird that flies by your house and is always there. Okay, there's a relationship where you really understand your parents. You understand brother or sister. You have a relationship with them. And relationship doesn't always mean like a boy and a girl, a man and a woman. Although that absolutely is true. But you can have a relationship with a certain object. Like, how many of you have ever had like a doll when you were a little kid? Well, you are little kids, but let's say you had a relationship with a teddy bear. I did. I did. Okay? And you know what? I still have my teddy bear to this day. I do. Okay? So do we kind of understand like what a relationship is? Okay? So a relationship, guys, is when two or more people or objects are connected. When two or more people or objects, like a teddy bear, are connected. Okay? Relationship. Two or more people or object are connected. Okay, any questions from the first word, cause, down to our relationship? Any questions? Is everybody okay? Yes, Devin. Good. And so you have a relationship with your puppies, right? Very good. Kelsey?
Is that why they call like this pencil company Papermate?
Papermate, because they're mates, right? They're mates, like we are classmates. We are connected together. We have a relationship with each other. We know each other. We're friends with each other. We help each other out. That's a relationship, okay? Not necessarily like the relationship some of you are thinking. We have a relationship even if it's just a bond, a connection with something or someone, okay? Just like in the quest for the tree kangaroo. There was a relationship between scientists and the kangaroo. That can happen, okay? There could have been a relationship between you and an owl who regurgitated that owl pellet, okay? It is absolutely possible. Yes, Lula.
In the story, there's actually a relationship with two kangaroos.
Yeah. Hey, that was a relationship, absolutely. So can we see how we can tie that together? Okay, very good. What about struggling? Struggling. To struggle. Devin.
It's like when you're doing a math,
Mm-hmm.
like when you're doing math,
Uh-huh.
and you don't know the answer and you're struggling, and it's like one of the things that I watched, like if someone says need help,
Yes.
it means that you're struggling.
Yes. So you're having a hard time doing something, right? Like the math you're talking about, you were having a hard time, you were struggling with it. So struggling is having a hard time doing something. Struggling is having a hard time doing something. If you're struggling, you're having a hard time doing something. Okay? Any questions? Now, before we move on, I do want you to talk into your groups. All right? What relationship have you had with someone or something?
I had a
Okay, go ahead and talk now. What relationship have you had with someone or something?
I had a relationship. I had a relationship. My dog.
There you go, friends. Dog. Here we go. I like that. My daughter has a Mickey Mouse, has a Minnie Mouse relationship.
My dad and Kaylin had a relationship with this too. I had this relationship.
All right. Okay, so coming back to me in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I heard really, really good conversations there. So every single one of us has had a relationship with an object, something, or someone, right? And currently still does. I have a relationship with my mom. She's my mom and I love her. You all love your parents, brothers and sisters. I've had a relationship with a teddy bear because that teddy bear meant something to me. It was comforting to me. I've had a relationship with you guys because you're my class and I care about you. You work hard for me. Okay? So relationships. Do we understand the meaning behind that? It's going to be very important, especially in this story, guys. Okay? Especially in this story. Let's move on to circumference. Circumference. Now, circumference, guys, is really the distance around a circle or a curved object. Do we agree that this is a circle? So the circumference would be the distance from one area, like from where the C is for their circumference, all the way around. Okay? The distance around a circle or curved object. So circumference. The distance, circumference is the distance around a circle. Do we remember where the word circumference came in the quest for the tree kangaroo? The scientists did something to measure their circumference around a body part of the the kangaroo. Okay, Kelsey? The neck circumference for the collar. Absolutely. Now, our neck, is that like a circle, like if you went from one distance all the way around?
Yes.
Yeah. So why might that have been important for the scientists to measure their circumference around the neck? Grace?
To make sure the collar wasn't too tight or too loose.
Yeah. If you did it too tight, you can choke, right? If you do it too loose, it will just come right off. So it was very important for the scientists to measure their circumference. Yes, Vincent?
Just to basically answer, not only did they want it tight
Yeah.
or too loose, they wanted it to be snug.
Absolutely snug. Good.
I have
Yolani?
a question.
Yes.
Why is the circumference only around a circle?
That is a good question. Well, you can measure from feet or inches, like length of someone's body, right? But can you measure you can measure inches, but you want to get an accurate reading of something of a circle. So like a head or a hat, right? That is a different kind of mathematical equation, which we haven't really even gone over yet in our math. Since we're on fractions, we haven't really gone over their circumference. Now that is an equation, a mathematical equation that you can actually find their circumference, like pi 3.14. That is having to do with circumference or something, like a cup, right? So would this be true that this bottom part is smaller from the top? Can you see that, how it goes like that? Well, their circumference is going to be different from this area than the circumference of that area. So it's not as easy as just saying that this is going to be about 4 inches and this is 6 inches or 2 inches because it's smaller. We have that mathematicians and scientists want to get a precise reading on something that is circular. So there are tons of things that are circular. And then there are a lot of things that are in straight lines like a square or a rectangle. Circumference also comes into play when astronauts, anybody who works for NASA, needs to find the distance around the sun, around the Earth, Mars, because it's like a circle, it's a sphere, okay? So circumference is a very unique mathematical process to get circumference, okay? Like our neck, like our head. There's circumference around our wrist for a watch. There's circumference around our waist for a belt, okay? A couple more questions. Kelsey, Hamam, and Zulef. Go ahead, Kelsey.
Aren't planets not like a perfect circle?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Aren't planets not like a perfect circle?
Yeah, most planets, probably all planets, are not perfect in not a perfect circle. Yes, Hamam.
Is it only for a circle? Can it be like a oval or something?
It could be. You know what? That's a good question. It may be that you could measure their circumference around an oval, but certain parts. Because remember, an oval isn't perfectly round. An oval is bigger on one side than the other, right? Like an egg. The tip of the egg is going to be smaller than the middle of the egg. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, Zulef?
So you're saying that like for that word,
Mm-hmm.
you can say it?
Circumference.
That-
That one.
So they like measure it,
They measure it.
but how do they measure the sun if it's too high?
Probably through a telescope, and then knowing that from one star to another, it's a certain amount of hundreds or thousands of miles, and they have to do a lot of math. Those mathematicians in science and for NASA are very, very smart, and that's where calculators come into play, and really and computers with large numbers that we could never memorize. Okay, I'm talking about in millions, in billions, and they have to work on that math. It may take weeks, months, years to find a circumference of a planet that we don't know about, or the sun. A lot is involved in that, because now the sun is humongous, right?
I'm never working for NASA.
Huge. You guys can work for NASA. Okay, stethoscope. Stethoscope. Now before we talk about stethoscope, let me point out what a stethoscope looks like. Have we ever seen one of these?
Yes.
Okay, you've gone to the doctor before, and the doctor has checked your heartbeat. Okay, they can hear it. The doctor puts this part right here in his or her ears. This part goes on to an area close to your heart, and therefore they can hear the.
Beating of your heart.
It could be too slow, too fast, or just right. They want to be able to find out how well your heart is beating, which is very important, right? Very important. Would it be very important for a scientist to check the heartbeat or heart rate of a tree kangaroo? And it was very important in this case. Especially guys, when the respiration was slow, the breathing was slow, And then, while the kangaroo was under anesthesia, the doctor needed to be able to check, or the scientist needed to be able to check, how fast or slow the heart rate was beating while the kangaroo was asleep. If the heart rate was too slow, there may be a problem. Because if you have a very slow heart rate, you're not getting enough air in. Respiration. Okay? Yes, Vincent.
When you're talking about the tree kangaroo,
Yes.
or chew for short, I found the page that was talking about the numbers and calculations.
Uh-huh.
On page 183, it talks about Joel knows the temperature and humidity too. It's 56.2 degrees Fahrenheit, 81% humidity.
That's awesome. So you see where that comes from. Very good, Vincent. So a stethoscope is a medical tool. A stethoscope is a medical tool used to hear someone's or something's heartbeat. Okay? Like a tree kangaroo. Yes, Ilani?
How do you think like the stethoscope can, how do you think, like, how does the doctors hear your heartbeat through that if there's like,
That's a great question. Since it's just so small and it's just, like, it's weird looking, how does this hear your heartbeat?
like how can the thing at the bottom of the stethoscope,
Uh-huh.
like hear your heartbeat? Like,
Well, there's a very, very fine material on the other side of this, right? So do you see that little hole right there?
Yeah.
The doctor's finger covers that hole, and on the other side there's a fine material that when it's placed on something, it could pick up on very, very fine sounds. Okay, very fine sounds. And this part goes into the doctor's ear. Well, there is a very, very small hollow opening in the ear that goes all the way in, okay? And then a very, very small, fine, hollow area all the way through this tube. Now, when the doctor puts that on your chest, he or she can hear, just because of that fine material, they can hear even the slightest scratching. So if this was the area, just rubbing it like that, you can hear. And then when it is actually on your chest, you can very easily detect that. Boom, 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 boom. So it's easy to hear. So it's kind of hard to explain because I don't know truly exactly the phenomenon behind that, but I do have held it in my hand where there is a fine material, almost like a paper, and when that is what is on your chest, it is able to go through the hollow tube and into the doctor's ear to be able to test. And that is specifically just used for the heartbeat because it is easy to hear. Now, a lot of times, if you've been running, you can almost even close your ears and hear your heartbeat. It's almost the same thing. So actually, go ahead and close your ears like this. Now talk.
Okay.
Can you hear yourself very loud? Like talk, you know, just say something. Do you hear that it's kind of deep? That's sort of like what the doctor is hearing.
Okay, so like a deep.
Okay? All right? It is deep, right? It's pretty deep.
Very deep.
So a stethoscope, guys, is a medical tool used to hear someone's heartbeat. Yes, Hamam?
So when you don't place your finger on the hole, the sound comes from the hole.
I believe so. Now, I believe if he or she didn't cover this hole, you may still be able to hear, but that will allow for even a more sound to come out. Okay, I believe so. Okay, and our last one, guys, scientist. A scientist, we've heard in the Quest for the Tree Kangaroo, is a person who is an expert at natural or physical science. A person who is an expert, a scientist is a person who is an expert at natural or physical science. Very cool. How many of you want to be a scientist? And that's great. We absolutely need scientists, okay, to study, and you're still iffy about that, right? And that's all right. We absolutely need scientists, guys, to be able to study animals so that they don't become endangered. We absolutely need scientists like the one over here. This woman is studying something under a microscope. We need that. She could be studying about something that can cure cancer. She can be studying a new medicine that could eliminate the flu instantly. Wouldn't that be really cool?
Awesome.
She can be studying something that can bring an endangered species back. Wouldn't that be amazing? Okay? So, would you agree that we absolutely need scientists? Yes, we need scientists so that we can stay healthy, so that we can breathe the nice fresh air, so that we can see these beautiful animals around the world. Okay? We need scientists. Yes, Aiden, and then Ilani.
So I watched this show on YouTube, and so they're trying to make a dragon, like a real dragon.
Ooh,
So
a real dragon, huh? Ooh. Well, scientists can help that out. Okay? So, cause and effect. What was this representation? Relationship. I'm sorry, Ilani, go ahead.
Would we really need scientists to see beautiful animals or to smell fresh air? Because if humans, like, this was my point I've been talking to my mom about it.
Okay.
And I think my reason is pretty valid. It's a valid reason.
Okay.
We wouldn't necessarily need scientists to breathe fresh air.
Right.
If we didn't have cars or we didn't create pollution, we
Sure.
could breathe fresh air. And we don't need scientists to see beautiful animals because beautiful animals would be here if we stopped killing them.
And you know what? You have a very valid point. And you are absolutely correct. But do you think that there is any way that we can eliminate all vehicles? There's just no way. Can we eliminate fumes and gases from nuclear power plants and companies? Can we eliminate that forever? No. So unfortunately, and you're right, without the pollution, the smog from vehicles, we would absolutely be able to breathe fresh air. And especially with the rainfall and all that. But it is very, very unlikely in our lifetime, Ilani, that we will be able to get rid of all vehicles that will produce smog and all that, right? So when I say we need scientists to breathe fresh air, the scientists, knowing that it is not going to happen to be automobile free, maybe the scientists can come up with a solution in which it could eliminate that smog and still have vehicles. That could be a possibility. It can, because anything is possible. So with scientists, we may be able to find out or come up with air conditioning systems in which it could eliminate all the pollution in our classrooms. Because no matter what, we're still breathing in something we shouldn't, even right now. So with scientists, it is possible. You know what I mean? And then what I mean about animals is, you're right. If we stopped hunting, if we stopped doing the bad things that we're doing that kills the animals, you're absolutely, we can still see the beautiful animals. But unfortunately, it probably will not eliminate the problem for good. There's still going to be somebody out in this world that is going to hunt those animals that are endangered. And so when those animals are completely gone and wiped off the face of this earth, it will be the duty of that scientist to come up with some sort of creation, some sort of cells in a little vial like this that can bring back a species that has been endangered.
Wouldn't that be wrong?
It could be wrong, right? It could be, especially if we're talking about religion.
Yeah, like.
But there are some animals, like for example the bees, insects like the bees. Those are dying off very quickly. But maybe the scientists can come up with a solution to keep bees around no matter what. Do you understand kind of where I'm coming from? But great conversation. Okay, last one, Kelsey, so we can kind of move on, okay?
Isn't there this car that only gives energy and not gas?
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to come up with maybe solar-powered vehicles that run off the sun. I've even heard of scientists and engineers trying to come up with automobiles that run off of water, but that is very tough. That is very tough to come up with, right? And then we are taking up resources, right? And no matter what, there's got to be some sort of energy coming out of it. There has to be some sort of pollution, I'm assuming, okay? But that's where you guys are the next generation to come up with those solutions, those great solutions and technology that would help, okay? Now, let's work on this cause and effect. We've learned a little bit about what cause is and what effect is. Okay? Now, in our informational text, The Quest for the Tree Kangaroo, many of the events have cause and effect relationships. Okay? A connection. Relationship is a connection between people or objects. One event called a cause leads to a later event called the effect. So a cause and then an effect, like Mr. Muniz hitting the bookshelf, falling over, hurting his knee. Okay? This effect can then become the cause for another effect, creating a chain of events that are related to each other. Okay? So please, look back at page 189, guys, in The Quest for the Tree Kangaroo. After the male tree kangaroo has been under anesthesia for several minutes, his respiration begins to slow down. What decision does Lisa make as a result? What effect does her decision have? You may work with your partners on this. You can work on your desks. You can work on the floor. You can work anywhere around the room, but work with your partners. I want good discussions about this, okay? Cause and effect. So we're looking at page 189. What page are we looking at?
189.
Okay. After the male tree kangaroo has been under, what is that word?
Anesthesia.
What does anesthesia mean? Okay, hold on. Let's see. What does anesthesia mean, Jonathan?
It means,
Yes, absolutely. That's why we have these two.
It's to give a medication to allow a procedure to be done without pain.
Absolutely. So after the male tree kangaroo has been under anesthesia, which he was given medicine to have a procedure done so he doesn't feel any pain for several minutes, his what began to slow? Everybody.
Respiration.
Okay, respiration. Josiah is absent today. Kelsey, what was respiration again? Yeah, they're breathing. So after he had been down and under anesthesia for several minutes, his breathing begins to slow. See how you can replace that word, respiration, and breathing? So what you are to work on with your group or with your partners, what decision does Lisa make as the result of that? What effect does her decision have? So please create a cause and effect. Go now.
You guys work together.
This means
Yes.
would we be able to work anywhere around the room?
Yes, absolutely. As long as you're working though, guys and girls.
Can we work with our groups?
Absolutely.
I called the bookshelf. Micah, you can work with your groups. We work Alright, I already got the first call.
So, Mr. Muniz,
Yes.
wouldn't you put like this right here after and slow right here, and then the effect, like you would try to find it, like.
Yeah, so what was the cause of them even giving the anesthesia to the male tree kangaroo? What was the cause of them even doing that? They didn't just go and want to do that.
So there was no they wanted to.
Okay, and then so what was the effect of all that? What happened at the end? So why did they do
They made
this?
history.
Huh?
They made history.
Okay, but at the end, but there was a reason why they did all this.
So they can know more about elevation, so they don't go extinct, so they can help them.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it says that in our story, right? It mentions that in our story. Very good. Remember, you can work together as a group.
We think that the cause of thinking it, we're trying to think about that one right there.
Okay.
That the cause is either that since at the start of the piece she's been wanting to study one and track one, but then she was thinking about anesthesia, that the cause was giving anesthesia so then they can, I think I got it.
Oh, light bulb. Light bulb.
I think I got it.
You guys doing okay? Just reading back in the story? Okay. Coming up with an effect.
Yeah.
Awesome job, man. Awesome job. You doing okay, Carlos? Or are you just looking back at 189? All right, man. Very good, guys. So this is part 1 of my lesson. Part 2 is to come after recess, because recess starts at 10 o'clock. We'll see you back.